Мене звати, мене звати Роман Квєтний. Я маю честь вже в 11-й раз відкрити сезон навчання в школі стартапів Вінницький виклик, яка є частиною мережі стартап-шкіл Сікорський челендж. Перед тим, як ми проведемо нашу процедуру і почнемо навчання в школі, я хочу запропонувати вам вшанувати пам'ять загиблих в наших війнах українських. Дякую, друзі. Мені дуже приємно, що ми з кожним роком все вдосконалюємось, що росте кількість спонсорів, що росте кількість учасників, що росте якість наших проєктів, що все більше вони впроваджуються в різних сферах нашого життя і діяльності. От цей рік ми працювали в рамках експериментального проєкту Міністерства освіти і науки, в якому ми взяли участь і була отримана підтримка. І ми працювали рік не тільки як школа стартапів з мережі Сікорський челендж, але і як школа стартапів, яка виділена і підтримана Міністерством освіти і науки. І за цей рахунок нам вдалося організувати оцей прекрасний консультаційний центр, в якому яка зараз є головною локацією нашого відкриття. Він і зараз працює, але я впевнений, що він запрацює ще більш інтенсивно, коли закінчаться війни, і коли ми будемо працювати в тому режимі, як ми працювали відразу, коли наш Ігор Пеер приїжджав до нас, проводив лекції. От зараз це якраз місце для лекцій, для консультацій, для спільної роботи. Всім оснащено як треба. Я хочу надати слово для вітального слова голові вченої ради нашого університету, професору Віктору Вікторовичу Біліченко. Прошу, Віктор Вікторович.
Дякую, Роман Наумович. Доброго дня, шановні студенти, колеги, партнери і гості нашого сьогоднішнього заходу. Я сьогодні маю честь вітати вас всіх на відкритті 11-го сезону стартап школи «Вінницький виклик». Для нашого університету це не просто чергова подія, це підтвердження того, що ми рухаємося в правильному напрямку, формуючи середовище, де народжуються нові ідеї, нові стартапи, що здатні змінювати світ. Стартап-культура – це не лише про бізнес, це в першу чергу креативне мислення, ініціативність, відповідальність і готовність приймати нестандартні рішення. Це саме ті якості, які сьогодні особливо необхідні молоді, яка прагне бути успішною в динамічних, швидкоплинних умовах змін. За попередні 10 років стартап-школа стала платформою для десятків вдалих стартапів, які отримали розвиток, отримали підтримку і визнання. І я переконаний, що наш черговий 11-й сезон відкриє нам нові імена, нові стартапи, нові історії успіхів. Особливо приємно відзначити, що Вінницький національний технічний університет виступає не лише освітній заклад, який надає певні знання, а як центр інновацій. Центр інновацій нашого регіону. Ми активно співпрацюємо з бізнесом, інвесторами, міжнародними нашими партнерами і створюємо можливості для реалізації найсміливіших ідей, задумів наших студентів і молодих підприємців. Шановні учасники, це в першу чергу для вас сьогодні такий важливий день. Перед вами відкриваються унікальні можливості. Не бійтеся помилятися. Не бійтеся експериментувати. Не бійтеся робити помилки. Виправляти їх і рухатися далі. І ставити перед собою самі амбітні цілі. Пам'ятайте, що будь-який самий великий проект починався з простої ідеї, яка потім розвивалася, реалізовувалася, і ми отримали той результат, від якого ми всі так, щось таке, дуже, і це правда. І я хочу щиро подякувати нашим організаторам, нашим менторам, нашим партнерам за їхню відданість нашій справі, за відданість справі розвитку інновацій в нашому регіоні. Я дуже радий бачити сьогодні Ігоря Пеера, Давида Ар'є, наших вінницьких партнерів, які всі ці 10 років, вже 11 рік, постійно з нами, постійно нас підтримують, і ми дуже цінуємо, адже ваша підтримка є надзвичайно важливою для формування нового покоління, нової генерації креативних молодих людей, молодих підприємців. І я бажаю всім учасникам, в першу чергу, натхнення, наполегливості, вірте в власність сили, ніколи не зупиняйтесь, рухайтесь вперед. Я ще раз кажу, що не робить помилок той, хто не робить нічого. Той, хто щось робить, завжди є помилки, але вони дозволяють нам аналізувати ці помилки, визначати правильний шлях руху і рухатись далі. І нехай цей 11-й сезон стане для вас точкою старту, точкою великих звершень. І я дуже буду радий вітати вас на завершенні 11-го сезону. Буду радий бачити ваші стартапи разом з своїми колегами. І ми будемо безмежно щасливі, якщо там будуть такі стартапи, які дадуть вам дуже гарний результат. Тому що, ще раз кажу, самий великий успіх починається з ідеї. Появляється ідея, появляється її рішення. У вас будуть чудові вчителі, це фахівці міжнародного рівня. Пан Ігор в нас сьогодні присутній. Тобто у вас є унікальна можливість отримати унікальні знання. Успіхів, рухаємося вперед. Слава Україні!
Дякую, Віктор Вікторович. Я хочу відзначити, що цього року в нас збільшилась не тільки кількість учасників, а й кількість проєктів. Як я знаю, а ми ще не закінчили реєстрацію 11-го сезону, вже є 17 проєктів, тобто 17 команд. І, безумовно, наші главні організатори нашого навчального процесу – це Ігор Пеер і Сергій Барабан, яким я дуже хочу подякувати, Ігору і Сергію. Без них вони є, так би мовити, родзинкою і головними організаторами і учасниками навчального процесу. І Ігор, і Сергій, який організовує всю процедуру навчання. І цього року у нас передбачена дуже цікава програма, де будуть залучені спеціалісти з різних напрямків. У нас буде і інтелектуальна власність окремо і проводитись заняття, і психологічний клімат, Ну і кейс навчання, як ми завжди робимо з успішними підприємцями, які вже реалізували свої стартапи. Зараз я хотів би надати слово, мені дуже приємно, що з нами пані Ірина Красовська, керівник експертної групи з питань розвитку наукоємних і інноваційних технологій, директорату інновацій та зв'язку науки з реальним сектором економіки Міністерства освіти України. Прошу, пані Ірина.
Вітаю всіх. Вітаю з відкриттям 11-го сезону стартап школи «Вінницький виклик». Стартап школи, яка направду є одна із найкращих в Україні, тому вона була і обрана міністерством як переможцем цього експериментального проєкту. Для нас дуже важливо підтримувати молодь та заохочувати їх в їхніх починаннях та розвивати інноваційний потенціал. І часто зараз студенти шукають власні шляхи для розвитку свого стартапу. І от нашою ціллю та метою було те, щоб саме університет підтримував їх на цьому шляху. Тому і був розроблений цей проєкт, який є експериментальним, тобто такого ще не було в Україні. І наша мета було саме розвивати простір, створити інноваційну інфраструктуру для розвитку інновацій. І це лише початок, тому що мережа стартап-шкіл, яка складається з 23 стартап-шкіл, вона продовжує функціонувати і буде продовжувати користуватися підтримкою лідерів інноваційної екосистеми, зокрема Українським фондом стартапів, Брейван. І так я хочу та запросити вашу стартап-школу на наступну програму, яка називається Student Startup Fund. Це програма, яка буде реалізовувати. І у межах програми учасники будуть працювати з менторами, протестують власний продукт, також матимуть можливість залучити проміжне фінансування, а також у фінальному отпічингу поборються вже за додаткове основне. Тому подача заявки буде тривати до 1 квітня. Деталі передам через керівника проєкту стартап-школи, тому долучайтеся. А вам, усім, я хочу побажати наснаги та до наступних звершень. Так тримати. Дякую вам.
Дякую, пані Ірино. Ми дійсно відбираємо, ми маємо цю інформацію, ми думаємо над цим і постараємося забезпечити участь одного з наших вже, як на певному рівні розвинутого стартапу у вашій новій програмі. Ми над цим думаємо, ми над цим працюємо. Дякуємо. Я хочу надати слово, друзі, нашому головному спонсору, автору ідеї, людині, без якої, я думаю, що це наша школа взагалі б не народилася, почесному професору нашого університету, керівнику ізраїльської інвестиційної компанії «Трансфотех» Давиду Ар'є. Прошу, пане Давиде.
Дорогі друзі, пане ректор, представники державних установ і спонсори, студенти та учасники конкурсу. Я з захопленням спостерігаю, як розвивається наша школа вже 11-й рік. Це вже другий десяток. І з кожним роком ми бачимо все кращі ідеї і все серйозніші проекти, які справді потрібні Україні. Щиро дякую пану ректору та всім спонсорам за постійну підтримку нашої школи, за віру в молоді, в майбутнє України. Саме завдяки такій підтримці ми маємо змогу зростати, звищувати наші традиції і відкривати нові можливості до молодих талантів. Професор Кветний, який є серцем цього великого дійства, минулого року започаткував надзвичайно цікаву ініціативу відкрити конкурс технологічних ідей, по суті. І я переконаний, що ми обов'язково продовжуємо цей напрям і знайдемо нові форми залучення найкращих умів і найсучасніших технологій. Надзвичайно важливо і те, що коло наших спонсорів почало зростати. Сьогодні в нас вже суттєво підтримують і місто, і область, і Міністерство освіти. А найголовніше, до нас почали долучатися наші вінничани, які очолюють великі міжнародні компанії. Ми надалі працюватимемо над тим, щоб це коло розширювалося, щоб ми могли реалізовувати більше програм і пропонувати ще масштабніші нагороди. А наступним кроком стануть міжнародні інвестори. Попереду багато роботи. Щасливої дороги, удачі та перемоги нам всім. Слава Україні!
Героям слава.
Героям слава.
Дякую, Давиде. Дякую, Давиде. Я хочу надати слово. Тут у нас присутній директор інноваційного холдингу Сікорський челендж пан Олексій Струцинський. Ми є частиною цього холдингу, і Давид є одним з організаторів, стояв у витоків цього руху Сікорський челендж. Прошу, пане Олексію.
Дякую за надану можливість виразити вам свою повагу і захоплення тим, що насправді дуже чітко видно, що наші стартап-школи, незалежно від обставин, незалежно від того, що відбувається, все одно розвиваються, все одно шукають нові форми, шукають нові можливості для того, щоб більше дати, для того, щоб якісніше підготувати проєкти, для того, щоб вони були якомога більше підходили вже і до споживача, і до держави, і взагалом для людей. І ваша стартап-школа, от ви вже зазначили, що багато нових тем додаються нові люди, які будуть викладати. Ми теж рухаємося в цьому напрямку, і мені дуже приємно, що наші такі роздуми в цьому плані співпадають. Я бажаю всім учасникам досягти тих успіхів, які ви собі плануєте. І головне, щоб ви досягли того, щоб ваші проєкти досягли визнання для того, щоб вони були корисними, щоб люди бажали їх отримати. Дякую вам.
Дякую, пане Олексій. Хочу зазначити, що всі роки існування нашої стартап-школи поряд з Давидом Ар'є, в числі спонсорів, пов'язана партнерськими відносинами з Трансфотехом Вінницька компанія «Спільна справа», і особисто пан Володимир Коцюбинський, він присутній в нашому консультаційному центрі, і я хочу теж надати йому слово для того, щоб він привітав от відкриття нашого 11-го сезону. Пане Володимире, прошу.
Доброго дня вам. Дуже дякую за надане слово. Я хотів би відзначити таку річ, що коли ми були десь у віці 3-4 років, ми навіть не розуміли і не усвідомлювали, які очікують нас випробування. Ми думали, що ковід – це саме страшне, що може бути. А потім почалась повномасштабна війна, і ми дуже це сприймали вразливо з точки зору, а як буде жити школа, як буде ще розвиватися вона, чи буде продовжувати, чи будуть сили, бажання і таке інше. І знову ж таки я хотів би подякувати нашим ідеологам, фундаторам і Давіду, і Ігорю, тому що от спілкування з ними, от я ніколи не чув жодного сумніву стосовно того, що ця ідея не може не існувати. Тобто завжди було одностайно, 100% така підтримка, що це потрібно, що воно має потенціал, воно має розвиватися. І всі ті люди, які причетні до цього процесу, вони вже, умовно кажучи, поділяли ці ідеї, вони рухались за ними, підтримували, і дійсно наша спільнота, вона шириться, вона стає більшою, і це дуже позитивний факт. Але я трошки не про інше. Про інше хотів би сказати. От як зауважив Віктор Вікторович, що ніхто не помиляється, якщо він нічого не робить. І очевидно, що ми можемо робити якісь помилки, але той факт, що кількість проєктів зростає, що ми вже по ходу наших під час захисту робіт, ми розуміємо, що давайте ще додамо таку фазу. Давайте ми зробимо якісь попередні захисти цих робіт для того, щоб порекомендувати щось покращити. Це говорить про те, що ми розвиваємося, що ця екосистема розвивається і вона має велике майбутнє. Всім дякую за участь і, знову ж таки, всім учасникам я бажаю успіхів і нових результатів, які, знову ж таки, позитивно вплинуть на наш імідж університету в цілому. Дуже дякую.
Дякую, Володимиру Юрійовичу. Я бачу, у нас присутні тут представники наших нових спонсорів, бо ми розширюємо круг спонсорів, тих, хто доєднався в минулому році до нас, тих, хто був з нами спочатку. Я бачу виконавчого директора фірми «Онсео» пана Олександра Тамашпольського. Я бачу керівника Вінницької філії Міротеха пана Андрія Козловського. Якщо ви хочете щось додати, то будь ласка, друзі.
Олександра не чуємо.
Андрій, прошу.
Да, дякую за можливість. Хочу привітати керівництво університету в особі ректора і Роман Наумович, вас хочу привітати з черговим етапом, з черговою новою історією цього дійсно грандіозного проєкту в технічному університеті як стартап-школа Сікорський челендж. Хочу відзначити, що це ви даєте можливість отримати надзвичайний досвід студентам технічного університету, технологічних спеціальностей, спробувати свої сили в досягненні, можливо, якихось своїх мрій, набути досвід практичний і не тільки в реалізації дійсно цікавих і реальних проєктів. Я знаю, що технічний університет завжди славився винахідниками, і ці традиції продовжуються. Я хочу побажати всім нам перемоги, учасникам цієї школи вагомих результатів і задоволення від того, учасникам цієї зустрічі і в першу чергу зорі, задоволення від того, що ми побачимо, що почуємо, і хай переможуть найкраще. Дякую. Від компанії Міротех отакі слова побажання. Ми дійсно давно з технічним університетом і в тому числі є спонсорами Сікорський челендж і в цьому році. Дякую.
Дякую, пане Андрію.
Два слова.
Будь ласка, будь ласка.
Звичайно, хочу подякувати організаторам, але більш за все хочу запросити і подякувати ту молодь, яка робить це доречним, да? То, для чого це все існує. Сподіваюсь, що це буде і цікаво, і корисно, і ви отримаєте саме то, для чого ви сюди прийшли.
Дякую, пане Олександре. Дійсно, ми вважаємо це освітнім процесом. І особисто я це характеризую, може це сильно гучно сказано, як міні-MBA в нашому університеті. І це освітній проєкт, і ми пишаємось тим освітнім проєктом і такою родзинкою в мережі освітніх програм нашого університету. Дорогі друзі, перед тим, як я передам кермо безпосередньо вчителям, керівникам навчального процесу, пану Ігорю Пееру, пану Сергію Барабану, може хтось ще хоче щось сказати, висловитись на відкритті нашого 11-го сезону? Якщо ні, то, будь ласка, пан Ігор, пан Сергій, перебирайте в мене головування. Якщо ви хочете щось сказати на загал, будь ласка. Якщо ні, ми закриємо нашу святкову частину і перейдемо безпосередньо до занять.
Сергій, хочеш щось сказати?
Ні, будь ласка, прошу
Скажи,
вас.
я по очим бачу, що ти хочеш щось сказати. Скажи. Давай. Ти головне,
Вітаю
ти
усіх
керуєш
нас.
цим процесом, то скажи пару слів. Ну.
Вітаю нас усіх з цим і бажаю легкої дороги і великих успіхів нашим учасникам.
Дякую, друзі. Закриваємо святкову частину.
Okay, guys,
Дякую. Ігоре, ви
one
теж
thing,
хочете
Roman.
сказати?
Roman,
Так?
I will take some words for everybody. So, dear friends, dear partners, dear people. You are people and people of vision, people of business, people of supporting, people that, nevertheless, what's happened around will continue to do what we are doing. And it's very it's very good for us. I think it's very good for our students because we as example that in any, you know, very hard situation, we'll continue doing, you know, what we need to do. And it's a great, because we're like example to, you know, to the young guys. And I hope in their life, it's maybe will be more easier than our, but shit happens, you know, and they know how to, you know, how to manage things which happen. So thank you very much for everybody, and I hope that this batch will be more successful or not less successful than other ones that we did before that. And I hope that we will meet in the demo day, you know, with the presenting the our projects, our startups. We'll have more real investors in our meetings in the finish. And thank you very much for everybody. So dear students, we'll do now 5 minutes break, okay, to set up our class, and who will continue with us? Just bring came back or still for 5 minutes break in our meeting, and to everybody who's have to continue to do their job. Thank you very much and good luck.
Дякую, Ігоре. І так, зараз почнеться навчання. Всім дякую, хто був присутній на відкритті і хто не є учасниками освітнього процесу безпосередньо. Всі вільні. Дякую за участь. Слава Україні!
Героям слава. А в центрі залишаться студенти? Маша, тут будуть студенти, може? Так? То якось посадіть їх, може, краще, бо ми їх не бачимо. Хай сядуть десь там, де щоб можна було краще їх побачити. А іще, Маша, вас не чути. Може зробити так, якщо хтось буде питання мати, щоб можна було його чути? О, так, да.
Так, це ми виключимо, тому що буде шум, бо нас тут багато. А студенти є, вони нікуди не діваються. Вони просто соромляться.
А ні, а якщо захочуть якесь питання задати, то треба дати
То ми
їм можливість.
включимо, да, надамо
Ага.
можливість. Надамо все добре.
Добре, добре.
Керівництво ушло, вже залишилися тільки учасники, тому, в принципі, ми готові слухати.
Зараз почекаємо, поки Ігор підготується.
Okay, guys. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Так, вас видно і чути. Так,
1 minute.
все чудово.
Okay, so actually we'll continue with our lecture. So, dear guys, my Ukrainian can be better. Okay, so I'm over. So, you know, not actually not to talk on the broken language. So I'll continue in English, but no problem. I understand Ukrainian very well. So if you will ask me or if you comment me in Ukrainian, so you're welcome. Okay. So what will be our program? How we will work with you? Actually, today it's first lecture, and I will provide you some basically introduction to startup entrepreneurship. Okay, I share with you some thoughts what's happened today in the world and how it was going to change with the AI and how all this domain is accelerated is accelerating right now. Okay. I will introduce you the platform, the Startup Mastery platform, which will help us to manage all of your process in your projects, in your startups. Okay. We will work with this platform. You will work with this platform, and actually I will show you. In our next lectures, we will go through this platform through quite defined steps of development of the project. Okay. I think actually what will be new in this, what will be new in our this year program, that actually I will provide you, some pre-recorded lectures, okay, maybe with using AI with my Ukrainian, that will have some translation to Ukrainian if you want. And actually, our meetings will be more like practical workshops, actually, which will help us to analyze, to do brainstorming in your projects. Okay, so I think it can be, more effective in our goal to bring you to some kind of maturity in your projects, and with our goal to present it in our day project. Okay. One more thing. After today's lecture, I will send to Sergey. Sergey will transfer to you guys some form, that you will need to fill with your ideas about your startup idea. Okay. And we will open for these projects, for this startup, we'll open Startup Mastery profiles for each startup. And we will add you to the projects. I think it will be good for you that we will have not solo founders. Maybe already some of you already divided to teams. So actually, you are not only one. If there are some guys which just came to startup school to learn about startups, about entrepreneurship, about all of this domain, but still they don't have their own ideas. So I think it will be a good idea if you or this kind of guys just join to somebody who is with the idea that you'll have dedicated, teams which allow us and allow you actually to continue through our period to continue to be active part of the project. Okay, so it's very important. And I think, from previous experience, I think it's a process. We have, we'll be a couple of months together, and some kind of brainstorming, some kind of common work together, and in the end, good ideas with the good founders, they actually continue to grow and continue to, continue the creating. So this is very important. And, maybe during our course, our program, you also have some kind of pivots. Maybe will change their thoughts. Maybe you'll change, their business model, financial model, go-to-market strategy, all of this stuff. But as I said, it's very important point here is that actually you should take it as something that you want to do, and if you want to do, you will have energy, to continue to doing that. From one side, from other sides, you will also get support, and from our side. So that's it. So maybe you have some questions before I will open the presentation. I will continue with the presentation.
Можливо, я дещо уточню українською, хто не зрозумів. Так, зараз Ігор вам розповів детально про сам процес організації навчального процесу в цьому році, як буде. І в нас є спеціальна навчальна платформа, яку він сьогодні про неї розкаже, так, в якій, як би мовити, зашито в цій платформі якраз всі ці принципи стартапів, да, які вони проходять етапи. Тому, тобто, це інтерактивне онлайн-навчання. От Ігор пропонує вам спеціально створену платформу для інтерактивного онлайн-навчання. Крім того, будуть YouTube-відео, я так зрозумів, з українською, але і там ще буде AI, це буде український AI, чи я дещо упустив, чи твоя українська?
Ні, це буде мій аватар.
Аватар, цифровий аватар Ігоря Пеера.
Це буде мій цифровий аватар, але я думаю, що ми зможемо зробити так, щоб це було українською мовою, щоб не коверкати. Як бачите, як балакаю українською мовою. Слово кажу так, слово кажу іначе.
А ні, гарно зараз, я бачу.
Гарно, не гарно. My problem that коли я балакаю українською мовою, іврит, jumping to, each second, third word, my Hebrew is jumping inside. It will be quite difficult for me and for you to hear it. So actually, what I want to do, I will create this kind of lecture. So maybe I'll do that in English. Maybe I'll do that, in Ukraine. So, and I'll create it maybe with my own avatar, which just to transfer this information in Ukrainian. So in this case, it will be much easier for you to understand that. The platform will be, all of these topics and platforms will be in English, of course, but the information which you will actually put inside the platform, it can be done or in English or in Ukrainian, because it's very important. Once we start, to go deeply in your project, it's very important to understand who is your first potential customers. And if your potential customers will be in Ukraine, so you need to cooperate and you need to discuss with them and talk with them in their language. If your potential customers, directly in the United States or in Europe, So maybe in this case, we will need to use English for communication with them. And this is very important in the early stage to understand what is the go-to-market strategy, who's potential customers, and trying to do all of, proposal and validation in their language, because it will not work if you're, for example, going to create something in restaurant business, and your potential customers will be pizzeria in Vінниця. Maybe in the future you will be able to go with this idea also in San Francisco and Los Angeles, but it looks like will not work if we'll go into local guys and with some aim to validate their problem and will manage interview in English. It will not work. So this is why it's very important that you will do that in your local language, in local area. So this is my vision, my understanding how we'll do that. Okay?
Так, звісно.
Okay, guys. So I'm going to share my screen. 1 minute. Okay, so can you hear me? Can you see my screen? Can you see me?
Так, все добре видно.
Okay, so let's start. So actually, we start today. It's an introduction lecture about some kind of methodology how to run startups. I call it Lean Innovation 3.0. My brand is Startup Mastery. Actually, I have wrote a book on this measure several years ago, Startup Mastery, which actually describe how startups came from different stages in development of their idea. So Lean 3.0, why it's 3.0? So it looks like if we have 3.0, so we'll have before that, we had before that 1.0, 2.0, okay? So what's mean Lean? Lean, it's some kind of management approach which allow to manage process in less, let's call it business ways. So it's to do it in efficient way, okay? Instead of spend $1,000 to create some product, maybe we will be able to spend about $500 and get same product, okay? So this is a Lean, how you actually do in efficiency way. So Lean management, okay, start with the Toyota production system in 1950, 1960, okay, when actually Toyota is a company after the Second Worldwide War, they tried to enter the United States market. It was quite big competition with local American companies, so they tried to find the right way how they can do that in less effort, with less overhead, with more efficiency way. So actually, they start to develop this, this approach and create. It's called Toyota Production System. By the way, it's the company uses it till now, and they came. It's like efficiency innovation. So, for example, there are several, specific points in this approach, like just in time. What means that just in time? For example, if you as a company want to sell 1,000 cars to somebody, so it looks like you need to produce the parts of these cars for 1,000, not for 10,000 or 100,000 cars, because this ballast of not used parts of the cars, you will spend the money, you will spend the time, you will need after that to take some warehouse where you want to just to store it, and this is like the business waste. This is overhead, and this overhead, especially if it's big, so will increase the price of the product. If it will increase price of the product, it means it will be less competitiveness with with other products. So they tried to find the way where they will be able to all of the time to do things, business, process better and better. So just in time, it's like do what you need today, do it, closer to this day. Case and continuous improvements. All of the time, think about how to improve the process. Okay, Jidoka, it's mean automation. Automate the process, which actually can be done manually, but by doing it manually, maybe it will not. Maybe they will have some, some errors and mistakes. Okay. By the way, today is with the agent in AI and the agentic AI, where agents can just replace and automate some processes and businesses. It's like super Jidoka. It's a total Jidoka, by the way. Okay, so this is a Toyota production system. Lean 2.0 from Lean Innovation 2.0 from my point of view, it's Lean Startup. And this is actually, it's like Bible of today's, startups. Eric Reyes came in 2011 with this book, and actually he explained how startups can build disruptive innovation, and this is a differentiation because efficiency innovation actually they want to innovate some process which already working is work good. Okay, but they want to do that in better. In Lean Innovation 2.0, in Lean Innovation for startups, actually, Eric Reyes came and said, look, guys, we need to create something new. And in something new, it's work in different way. Because early startups, which started in 1990, 1995, 2000, 2005, and before that, they actually methodologically they used this very understandable approach. When you say, okay, you have an idea, create the product, go with this product to the market, try to sell this product and get, if it's like big companies, because big companies, when they create something, they say, okay, we are Toyota, we want to create a car. Okay, we have our potential customers. We know who's the customers. We know what they're looking for. We know what they like. We know everything about our customers. So let's create our product. Let's just put some budget in the marketing, and everything will be good. So okay, no problem. But in startup, the big problem that sometimes you came with a new idea. You don't have product. You don't really know who's a potential customer. You don't really understand and you validate the problem. And if you create the product and you will invest your money and time by creating something new, and after that you will come with this product to the market, to the customers, there are a big chance that you will not just know exactly what they want and they will not buy it. And by the way, I will show you the statistics after that. So Eric Reyes came with the idea, the book called Lean Startup, okay? And the ideas here was like build, measure, learn, loop, which actually based on minimum viable product approach. It means, okay, instead to go and build final version of product with a lot of features, let's create something smaller. Let's create something initial. And with this initial product, we'll go to the customers. Okay. It's a build, and repeat, it's a build. Okay. We'll go to the customers asking, do you like this product? Yes, no, it looks good. Yes, no. If yes, we'll continue. If no, we'll learn from them. It will change something. And sometimes, they use the word called the word is called pivot. It's like change direction, because we get something from our potential customers saying, look, it's not good, I don't like it, so let's change it. And once you can go through this loop, continue, you build, you measure, you learn, you rebuild, you measure, learn, you rebuild, you measure, learn. So in the end of the, of this process, you will build something that your customer needs. And this is great. And this is what's like, wow. It's like a new approach. It's like something new. Because before that, it was like, okay, we have a company, this company will create a product. After that, we will start marketing, we'll go to customers and, business. So here, he actually mentioned that startup is not regular business. By the way, one of his mentors or teachers was Steve Blank. Steve Blank, which actually developed, very accepted methodology, which called CASDEV, customer development, which actually said, look, guys, before you create your products, go to the customers and try to understand your customer before you create a product. Okay, so actually, after that, Eric Ries came with this idea of minimum valuable product. Not only product, but minimum valuable product. Okay, so this is 1 and 2, and actually I explain you why I try to create the 3.0 and what's the problem with the second one. Okay, so if you try to see what's actually funnel of entrepreneurs in the world, it's like small percentages in the end, successful projects. So 92% of the startups fail. By the way, the population of entrepreneurs, people who are doing business, it's only like percent from the total population. And from this 10%, small percent is just going to tech startups. Okay. And from this small percent who is going to tech startups, only 1% actually is accelerate itself, and only 1% of this 1%, they get good big exit. So actually, funnel it's huge, yeah, because if you actually see million people in entrance and only 1,000 in output, that means like 1 from 1,000 actually success with a big success, and there are smaller success. It's like 1 from 10, small success. So you see, it's like funnel. It's very, very strong, and and a lot of people lose money, time, and the possibility to build something new, because they just was not successful doing that. So actually in Israel, we also have something, interesting, because, Israel is a startup nation, but a lot of companies, were closed in the last days, in the last years. By the way, it's, this information is not like public information all the time, because you can see here, for example, in Israel, a lot of public relations was successful at that, but who was not successful at that. Mostly people don't talk about that. So, for example, they found this, this information in some business newspaper in Israel. actually saying that in 5 years, from 2012 to 2017, we're close at 3,500 startup companies. They have spent about $4 billion investment, and between them, very famous guys, which actually did exit to companies which raised a lot of money, like $200 million, $150 million. So a lot of companies actually were closed. Nevertheless, that they bring investment. Okay. So actually try to understand what's happened, why it's not work well. And this is very interesting statistics. It came from SB Insights, American company, which analyze and bring in some kind of infographics, very interesting information from around the world. And especially, they work with the tech, so they analyzed the top reason startups failed in the United States. So actually, they analyzed more than 100 startups, which actually not like, okay, I have idea and I don't know what to do and something will not work with me or didn't work with me. So they actually tried to analyze failed startups, but after startup raised some money, pre-seed, early money, early stage. So it's very interesting because as you can see in these statistics, what we can see in these statistics, that in the second reason, we have with 35%, the reason of failing, it was no market need. So startup create some kind of product, okay, and just market say, no, we don't want it. It's 1/3 of all the startups, statistically, which were closed, they were successfully created product. Wow. In the first place, the reason of the first, the failure on this reason, the reason was ran out of cash, okay, failed to raise new capital. Actually, money is gone, and they need to bring new capital. But it was not successfully done. Why? Because, and we will learn a lot about investors, what kind of investors there are, what kind of mind they have, what they're looking for, what they, what kind of, how they took decisions, okay, in this and this, area. So mostly investors in more advanced rounds of raising money, they're looking in the startups from perspective, if the startup have very good, if this startup have very good product, but very important, if the startup have very good traction from customers. If the startup has very good acceptance from potential customers. If this startup has very good growth from potential customers, okay? So if the startup has a good product, from point of view of the startup, it's a good product. We have very good application, we have very good device, but this product not very good accepted by potential customers, a problem. Because investors in more advanced, stages of development of startups, they're looking for unicorn. They're looking for the companies which actually can reach $1 billion valuation. And if they know how to check the startup, how to check the startup, they know how to see if this, especially startups, has good potential to get there or not. If they recognize that they don't have a good, scale, they don't have a good potential to be unicorns, they just say next, next, next. In this case, actually, you see the startups which actually try to raise capital, they say, investors say, no, we're not interested, so next. So it's like two-thirds of the all reasons that startups fail, it's related more to customers and markets, and not to, team and the product and all this stuff. And this is what I want you actually start to think from this point of view, that for your success, for success of your product, it's very important, not product, it's understanding the problems and needs of potential customers, and actually this match with the problem for potential customers and solution that you'll bring. Okay, so it's very, very important, and we work with this, very different. So, okay, so I'll try actually to understand, internalize this, I call it triangle of startups, startup triangle. So from one side we have startup, and this is the founders. Okay. From other sides we have customers, okay, potential customers, actually people who will buy or use your product. And here in the third part is investors, because startups need the money, startups need resources, because startups mostly build something new, and they need this, this resources, this money to build it. So actually, this kind of triangle. And what's interesting here, that all of these people, they should take decisions, and they take decisions under uncertainty and risk. Okay? There are a lot of risk, there are a lot of uncertainty, and they don't know what will happen tomorrow, but they should take decision today without knowing what will happen tomorrow. And this is a psychological stage. It's some kind of psychological. So actually, I found, because I taken some kind of research. I took some kind of research, and I found this. I think it's one of the basic great, theories. It's called prospect theory. It's from two well-known Israeli psychologists, okay, who work in the United States, and actually they collaborated to research that led to foundation. It's called behavioral economics. Actually, this theory explains how people take decisions under uncertainty and risk. It's actually how their biases, emotion influence those decisions. It's mean in uncertainty and risk, a lot of people take decisions irrational, not rational. Okay? Because their emotion start to play like a main role in their decision. And when it's emotion, it's less rational and it's more emotional, irrational. Okay. So by the way, they got a Nobel Prize in 2002. Okay, in economics. By the way, Nobel Prize in economics. It's something very, very fundamental that was developed. And today, as I had a lot of companies use it because it started to be behavioral economics. It's a great. So actually, what was before that? So here we can see this graph, and this graph explains. Actually, we have in x like this is a value, okay, the real value of gains, losses, For example, rain gaze absolute value. So maybe you'll go out and find 100 euro. And in the Y, yes, in the Y, this is psychological value. And this is relationship between real value and psychological value. And many years, people think that it's, it's related, like it's the same. Psychological value, it's like a real value. So actually, if you're going out and find 100 euro, and you actually, it's 100 euro. It's absolute 100 euro. It's not 90, it's not 200, it's 100, yeah. And it's like the people feel this 100 euro. Okay, people think that they feel this 100 euros insane, insane. So if you have 100 euro, you feel like 100 euro. You have 1,000, you feel like 1,000. And same is if you lose 100 euro, it's like you feel that you use 100 euro. And this is like linear. 45 agreed, linear function, very simple. But what actually found our famous fellow psychologist, Kahneman University, they say, no, it's not linear. It's work different. It's work different. Why it's work different? Because actually, they say, look, we have several very important points. So the first one is they call diminishing sensitivity. So the people feel the difference between 100 euro to 100 euro. It's 100 euro. There, it will be different than if they have already 900 to 1k euro. So psychological value is going to be like a plateau. Okay. So diminishing sensitivity. So it's going to we feel it's less. Same, it's going with the losses. Okay. So to lose 100 euro and to lose 100 euro after you lose 5,000 euro. So losing this data, 100 euros, will feel different. So it's going to plateau. Diminishing sensitivity in the plus and in the minus. Okay. It's the first. The second one is an adaptation level. It means we need to see this point where we try to understand, this system. And for example, we have two investors. Okay. Each of them has $1 million in their bank account. And from our perspective, they equal. And from our perspective, we will come to them and ask them from investing in our startups. And also, this investors has same amount of money in their bank account. From our perspective, it's equal, it's same. But if we try to see what happened before that, so it's like 1 year ago, from the two first investors, he had $2 million, and during this year, it just they lose the money, and now he has only one, and other has only like $500,000, and during this year, they just increase the fund. They just earn additional $500,000, in some business activities. So from this point of view, they will take totally different decision to invest in your startup or not. So it's very, very important adaptation level. Okay, so where we stay now and what was previous. But more, important, I think, in this, in the theory, this is what we have here. It's a loss aversion. Loss aversion. Okay. What is the loss aversion? It's people feel losses more keenly than gains. They feel it's more painfully. It's terrible them more to lose something than with the possibility to earn something. It's very simple example here. For example, I go out and I go to my car and I see 100 euros. So psychological value of this 100 euro can be 100 euro, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. It depends what, what's it diminishing, where I stay. But if I'll tomorrow will lose this 100 euro, I'll go, after that I'm going to, for tomorrow I'm going out and I'll just, taking my key for the car, for my pocket, this 100 euro, I will lose. So my feeling will be not like, okay, I lose. It's not will be like, okay, I'll go to zero because I lose 100 euro. This will take me psychologically much, much, much deeper. So psychologically, I will feel that probably I lose about 250, 200, 300 euros. So I will feel these losses more keenly and more strongly and more painfully than in real, in real value. So psychological value of losses much, much harder and much more stronger and much more keenly than possible gains, possible revenue. Okay, and this is, I think it's a basic. Once you will understand that, you will see it will be much more easy will be for you to understand, the total map and understand what's going on with, in this area with you as a founder, with the customers, and with investors. So this is the basic. So now I propose here several interesting examples how people feel it. So for example, this study showed that Olympics bronze medalist is always a lot happier than the silver medalist. Okay. So why? So because of their different reference point. So the silver medalist, silver, he's less happy because he lost to the gold medal. The bronze medalist is happy because he's, top of 3 and he actually win all of these guys who just came to them. So, but in the absolute value, so silver is much more higher. But in mental, in generally, the bronze feel better than silver. So one more, we call popcorn research. Actually, in the popcorn in cinema, people did some research, and actually they try to understand what kind of popcorn, what kind of size people buy before for cinema. Okay, so before film. So actually, they see that it was like two sizes, small and XL and big, with $3 and $7. Like 80% of the people bought small one. And when the people who just provided this research just tried to ask them why they decided to do with the $3, it's explained, okay, we are not looking, we don't think that we need to buy something expensive. It's enough for us. We are looking for the good health, so we don't need this kind of popcorn, all of this stuff. Like 80% just bought the small one. The next day, what's happened? They just add the medium size, like $6.5. And what's happened here, it's like 80% try, 80%, like 80%, more than about 80% just bought the big one. Not small, big. So interesting that actually no one of them, bought a small amount, bought actually medium size. Mostly people bought big size. A small amount of people bought small. So actually they said, look, think about that. This is psychological because actually we just add some kind of product inside. Nobody buy it, but it was changed like for 180%, direction of behavioral of these people, which actually changed the behavior of people, and they actually bought what they don't bought before that, didn't bought before that, and this is crazy, and this is psychological. Okay, so one more, it's a pizza research. So in some restaurant, actually in menu was basic pizza with $5 price, but with the possibility to add till 12 add-ons, and each add-on like mushrooms, maybe olive, other cheese, with the possibility to add these add-ons for $50, each of them. So actually, if you decide to add 12 add-ons to this pizza, so that the total price will be like $11. And they check, what was the price? What the check? Was the average check? So average check was people pay for this pizza something like $6.5, $7. It's like 3-4 add-ons and stop with that. Next day, same restaurant, same kind of customers, and they changed the menu. It's actually, instead of basic pizza, they just provided super pizza, $11. With possibility with all of these add-ons already inside. Okay, but with the possibility to reduce all of these add-ons. Okay, each add-on is the same $50, 50 cents. And actually, if you can just reduce it and pay $5, and so from a mathematical point of view, it's the same. Plus or minus, it's the same. But here, what was interesting, why it's so important research, the average check, it was like $8.50. So in previous one, it was like $6.50, and here it's like $8.50. So difference. It's like $2. So now $2 on this, in this pizza is like 25% of the revenue. Only because actually you provide to your customers, your product in some psychological way. And here I just want to show you small video which explain why I think it's very, very basic instinct. But actually we'll try now, to show you. It's like something very, very basic instinct of psychological of our, of human being. And this is basic for founders of startups in this triangle, for customers and for investors. And once we will understand, their habits, once we understand what they think and what they feel and how they think, for us it will be much, much more easier to build startups. Much, much more easier way. because you as a founders can understand yourself. You can understand what's happening in the heads of your potential customers. And if you know what your potential customers think and what the patterns of their thinking, it will be much more easier for you to take decision that will be right. And of course, if we are talking about the investors, so if you understand how they think, and you can to predict their behavioral, so it's provide you huge advance, among the others, because other guys don't really know what's supposed to wait for investor in their reaction. So here it's a very interesting research with the two monkeys. So researchers provided to these two monkeys to do some, little job to do, simple job to do. They just provided some kind of piece of stone. The monkeys bring the stone back, and they provided some kind of food. Okay, so before that they provided the cucumber, and after that they started to provide the grapes. Okay, so and we'll see what's happened with these monkeys. The two monkeys that just sitting each in their other, and it's like 2 minutes short video, but it's provided a lot of understanding what's happened actually from psychological point of view. Let's see.
So a final experiment that I want to mention to you is our fairness study. And so this became a very famous study, and there's now many more, because after we did this about 10 years ago, it became very well known. And we did that originally with capuchin monkeys, and I'm going to show you the first experiment that we did. It has now been done with dogs and with birds and with chimpanzees, but with Sarah Brosnan we started out with capuchin monkeys. So what we did is we put two capuchin monkeys side by side. Again, these animals, they live in a group. They know each other. We take them out of the group, put them in a test chamber. And there's a very simple task that they need to do. And if you give both of them cucumber for the task, the two monkeys side by side, they're perfectly willing to do this 25 times in a row. So cucumber, even though it's really only water in my opinion, but cucumber is perfectly fine for them. Now, if you give the partner grapes, the food preferences of my capuchin monkeys correspond exactly with the prices in the supermarket. And so if you give them grapes, that's a far better food, then you create inequity between them. So that's the experiment we did. Recently, we videotaped it with new monkeys who had never done the task, thinking that maybe they would have a stronger reaction, and that turned out to be right. The one on the left is the monkey who gets cucumber. The one on the right is the one who gets grapes. The one who gets cucumber, note that the first piece of cucumber is perfectly fine. The first piece she eats. Then she sees the other one getting grape, and you will see what happens. So she gives a rock to us, that's the task. And we give her a piece of cucumber, and she eats it. The other one needs to give a rock to us. And that's what she does. And she gets a grape. And she eats it. The other one sees that. She gives a rock to us now, gets again cucumber. She tests the rock now against the wall. She needs to give it to us. And she gets cucumber again. So this is basically the Wall Street protest that you see here.
Okay, so this was, as I said, a very good example what's happened in psychological point of view, and why it's so strong, because actually it's happened in the positioning of instincts. So, and to take the decision under uncertainty and risk, okay, sometimes it's like to take a decision very fast, and then actually taking this decision under pressure of instinct. So let's see, I'll try to, to analyze what's happened in startup with this model. So actually we have this psychological value, we have gains, we have losses, and we have this curve of prospect theory. So actually as a startup, you have idea, you start at this point, and it's very relative to you. What if you have startup before that, you actually start a new one project. Did you have some successful stories before that or not? So it's very important to understand where you started, and what your previous experience and what your previous, background. Now, everybody's talking about today about MVP, minimum viable product. We need to create minimum viable product, and with minimum viable product to go to the customer to get from that, some feedback. And once you get from the feedback, so we will be able to continue this loop, which I explained during, in previous slides. And once they go to the customers, what actually happens? Something like 80%. We just got from them, no, maybe if you change something, it's maybe good or maybe no. If we'll try, maybe we'll not pay yet because it's not finished yet, and a lot of no, okay? And we'll explain line. I will explain also why. So it's like, and with this no, if we will need to change something in our product, it's not like we'll go back to zero when we'll just start it with a lot of energy, with a lot of passion. We just go very low down because it's like loss aversion. We actually feel losses. We as a people, a human being, we feel losses like 3 times more hard than, in this psychological value, than possible gains. So, and what actually happened here, so a lot of people, they say, okay, we need to continue, but we don't want to take the risk more. We don't want to put our only money, we don't want to put our, time, but we need to continue. So we need resources, we need money. So with this money, how to go, where to money, where to go to, we see venture capital, investors. But venture capitals, they also people, they should take decision under uncertainty and risk. They don't really know if you'll be successful or not. They have some, patterns in their world, in their head. So, and we talk about this more, in upcoming lectures. So they have this like 3T approach or rule, 3 T's rule, team, time, tech. Team, it's a team, people who actually are building startup. TAM, what is a TAM? It's total addressable market. See, the market is big enough. And technology, and technology mode, we have patents, we don't have patents, and so you need to see the traction from your potential customers. From customers, they want to see working business model. They want to see the KPIs, metrics, and all of the stuff. Unit economics. But actually, you don't have yet. You're looking for money to create it, to go to the customers, because your first meeting with the customers was not so successfully done. So this is a big problem because they not really believe you, and we can understand them because we saw the statistics. And if you actually can provide them a lot of evidence that somebody who's they're looking for, and you can be unicorn company, a big $1 billion company, they say next. So in this, just go and back, a lot of startups just fail with the MVP. So now MVP, this is some kind of software, is some kind of resources which was just put inside. So a lot of startups close their, they stopped the activity and they closed after a very good MVP that they just did. So here I just want to show you why it's happened that like 80% of potential customers just say no. Because if you try to understand, they will try to analyze the segment of a potential customer. And this is segment. This is just like, the segment. It's like, okay, the students, the workers, the owners of restaurants, or maybe some B2B, some factories. Never mind. This is a segment of the potential customer. And these segments, maybe they have same ideas, the same problems. And actually, they potentially can be your potential customers that will use your product. But differentiation of this monolith, of this segment, it's actually happened based on their decision to take decision under uncertainty or risk. So for them, only 2.5%, you can see it's here, yeah? It's innovators. It's people which, wow, they're looking for something new. They're ready to take risk. After that, we have 13.5%, it's early adopters. So adopters, the people which can take the risk to take something new, but 84% here, 84%, it's a late adopters. So these late adopters, they have early majority, late majority, laggards. So actually 84% of the potential customers, from psychological point of view, that they should take decision under uncertainty and risk, they're afraid to take this decision to use something new. And this is a big point. Maybe they have same problem as innovators, like this 2.5%, but innovators, they're ready to take the risk. They're ready to take the risk and try something new. Sometimes they're looking for something new. And laggards and late majority and early majority, they just psychologically can't take decision to use something new. So the only way it's to go to this 84% is to pass through these innovators and early adopters. Because this 84% will take decision to use something new only if they will see that people from this beginning, from innovators and early adopters, already use it, like it. They solve the problem that also this 84% also have this problem, but these guys already solved it. And so in this case, this 84% maybe will use it, okay? And from perspective and from investor point of view, an investor looking for scale, for growth, actually growth and scale for startups came in this 84%. Because here in the beginning, it's only small amount of customers, the early adopters, the innovators, but the growth came for this 84%. And if you don't have a right key to open this 84% of the market, and this 84% will be closed to your product, you never will be a big company, never. So between this 16% and this 84%, you see the chasm. You see the chasm. The chasm is debt of value, value of debt. Whereas a lot of startups just closed and dead. Why? Because in the beginning, they create something that actually can be used by a small amount of people, but they don't have right go-to-market strategy how to reach this 80%. And all startups just with a good MVP, with a good, early stage product, they just close itself because they can't grow. And this is very important point. And I think once you will understand that, it's like we'll understand 80%, like 50% of successful startup. If you understand with these several slides, it's like you already did like 50% of MBA. If you understand that, after that, you just to implement it. But if you know this knowledge, it will help you to be more successful guys than other who will continue to do that in old school fashion. So now we'll just present you Lean Innovation 3.0. So actually, this is methodology which I developed. And this methodology based in actually 3 main pillars. So the first one, it's a MSP, minimum sellable product, not minimum valuable product, minimum sellable product. The second one, it's called pre-start marketing business development. What does it mean? It means the active process, how to find inventors and early adopters, and how bring these guys to be design partners of your idea, and how with them to create the first version of minimum sellable product, and how based on their evidence and their acceptance of this minimum sellable product, how we can go to the next version of product from one side, how we can go and entrance to this 84% late adopters. Because as I said, only in the late adopters, you will be able to create big business. And third one, this is our platform, Startup Mastery platform, okay? And now we also add AI to this platform, and my position is not just platform, it's more active platform because he start to act as an AI co-founder, which actually actively help the startups to create materials, to create the product and so on. And now this is also startup, so in the coming days, in the coming months, the platform will be more robust. But this is 3 pillars, which I think we bring with this Lean Innovation 3.0. So how it was, built. So actually, once you finish, once you fill the form, which I will share with Sergey, and Sergey will send you guys the form for write down your ideas in some form. So we will analyze this form for your ideas, and we'll open in this platform your profile for your startup. So actually, this platform we have like 5 stages, 5 levels: the basic, bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. So the basic level, this is ideation. Okay, what is the idea? Who's the customer? Who's the potential competitors? Okay, what elevator pitch? So actually, this is the idea, which already can be good described and understood. The bronze level, this is a pre-start marketing and business development, but this is actually the very important part of your journey, because here in this part, we will try to validate your potential customers. We'll try to validate the problems and needs of your potential customers, and we'll try to find, this is very important point, to find the representatives of these potential customers, who is the early adopters and inventors. So once we will find them, we'll try to transfer them to be our partners, to our, it's called design partners. And with these design partners, we actually go to next level, and this is a silver level. Okay, so we talk about MSP, minimum sellable product. This is a design, and we create the design. After that will be the gold level, and this is already sales. We start to talk about the sales of minimum sellable product. And once the sales will go good, we can go to the platinum level, and this is product market fit. And actually, this is scale, where you know who's your customers, you know what their problem, and you know what kind of solution they need, and we can scale. So here, actually, in our next lecture, we'll go inside more deeply in this platform. Okay, once we will open for you your projects. So here we will have a list of startups. Each startups will get this flow with the basic bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. Okay, and we will go through all of these stages as I described it before that. And after that, what actually happened in the end of our course, your ideas with the presentation, with the executive summaries, with small pitch will be uploaded to dashboard, investor dashboard in this platform. And actually investors which will be in demo day is also after that will be able to see your project. And not only investors who will be from demo day, also my own business angels club, investors which I work with them, will be able to see your project. Okay, so here I will stop. Share. And questions before we'll finish our lecture today.
Так, є запитання в когось, будь ласка. Поки вони, можливо, думають, я дякую вам за таку цікаву лекцію. Я прослухав, не знаю, як вони з цими мавпами, це, звісно, родзинка така цього, як вона кидала той огірок, так, то, да, це, прикольний момент, дійсно.
Прикольно, і як я казав, це дуже важливо розуміти цю психологію, тому що якщо ти розумієш психологію свою, ти можеш зрозуміти себе, тому що багато людей не розуміють себе. Бо якщо вони не розуміють себе, вони не розуміють, що твориться з ними, інколи це може привести їх до поганого настрою, це може привести їх до депресії, це може привести їх до якихось таких відчуттів, з якими ти не зможеш на 100% ти не зможеш продовжувати будівлю свого стартапу. Це хат. По-друге, якщо ти розумієш, як поводиться твій потенціальний клієнт, і ти можеш предугадати його поведінку, це відкриває тобі карти бути краще, ніж той, хто не розуміє його свого клієнта. По-третє, це інвестори. Якщо ти розумієш, що відбувається в голові твого потенціального інвестора, це це дає тобі фору в цьому компетишені, в цій битві за гроші, до яких добратися так непросто в цей непростий час. Ну, психологія прийняття рішень, вона з моєї точки зору, вона краєгольна, базова для розуміння цих процесів. Бо якщо ви зможете зрозуміти ці процеси, ви не тільки послухати мене, окей, Ігор зробив цікаву лекцію, і ми цими обезянками, які там щось кидають огірків і так далі. А ви зрозумієте психологію прийняття рішень в ризиковій ситуації, коли є ж uncertainty, коли ти не знаєш, що відбувається, і ви зможете зрозуміти не тільки зрозуміти, а й робити висновки, коли ви будете будувати свій стартап але клієнти інвестори, це зробить вас, підійме вас на більш високу ступінь, ніж всі, хто не знає цю істину. Тому good luck to everybody. Let's do next thing. So, Сергій, я вишлю тобі ще раз лінк на форму, на форму, окей? You will send it to our participants and let's start our journey.
Так, добре, дякую. А як я зрозумів, то цей AI co-founder, то він ще будується на платформі, так?
Він ще будується, але ж ми будемо в такому полуручному режимі, імпромтами, давати можливість стартапам вже їм користуватися. Бачиш,
Десь через тиждень-два він вже буде там на платформі, так?
Так.
Окей. Добре, цікаво буде подивитися. Потестити. Добре, дякую вам.
So everybody, my hugs and your sky and our sky will be quiet in this evening.
Так. Миру всім нам. Дякую.
Миру. Дякую. До побачення.
До побачення. Вони вже поснули десь. Добре, до побачення.